October 31st, 1992. Families across the UK gather around their TVs to see a BBC special about a haunted house. What is seemingly an innocent live broadcast quickly spirals into something much, much darker. Panic sets in, the phone lines are jammed, and by the end of the night, Ghostwatch becomes one of the most controversial events in television history. And you'll find out why in this video. Hey, how you doing? It is I, the Terrorific Lady, otherwise known as Brandy, and welcome to Retro Horror School, and a happy Friday to you. I cannot believe it's already the last month of the year, December 2024. I blink, and the year goes by really fast. In this video, we're going to be diving into the story of the television found footage movie known as Ghostwatch. How it blurred the lines between fiction and reality, scared the crap out of people, and influenced what is known as mockumentaries and found footage horror going forward. Also in this video, I asked people on Threads if they remembered when Ghostwatch first aired in the UK, and if they did, what was their reaction to it? Did it scare them? Did they know it was fake? I will be sharing some of those reactions in this video as well. So what exactly was this movie, Ghostwatch? It aired on Halloween night, 1992 as a live paranormal investigation. So the premise behind it was that two very well-known TV presenters for the BBC, Michael Parkinson and Sarah Green, were investigating a poltergeist terrorizing a suburban family's home. That basically sounds like something that you might pop on to your TV and watch for Halloween, right?
So welcome live this Halloween night to the first ever TV Ghostwatch. That's the scene in Fox Hill Drive in Northolt. Our outside broadcast units are there. That's the house where it might all happen tonight, or it might not. We shall see.
But here is the catch. Ghostwatch, while it was made to look live, was not live at all. It was a scripted movie, a mockumentary designed and meant to feel like a live television broadcast. And the attention to detail was mind-blowing. There were actual BBB presenters. There were actual BBC technicians and cameramen that were with the presenters and following them around. There were authentic studio setups. There was even a legitimate call-in number for viewers. And even though there was a warning of sorts at the beginning of the broadcast saying that this is a dramatization presented by Screen One, Leslie Manning, the director, and Stephen Volk, the writer of this, did too good a job at making this seem believable. Now, before we go further and talk more about Ghostwatch, I thought I would talk a little bit about what a mockumentary found footage style movie actually is. At their core, mockumentaries are fictional stories that are shot and presented in the style of a documentary as to what's going on behind the scenes. Think of other horror movies like, this is a more recent example, but Late Night with the Devil, which came out in 2023, and also the infamous found footage mockumentary style movie The Blair Witch Project, which came out in 1999. They use and speak the language of realism, so they're using things like seemingly authentic interviews, handheld cameras, raw footage, and that's to draw you in and try to blur the lines between fiction and reality and to make you believe that what you're seeing is real. What sets Ghostwatch apart, though, is that it aired on a trusted television network like the BBC and played into the idea that this was a live television broadcast. That level of authenticity blurred the lines, and it was relatively new for the time, so people didn't really know what to make of it. These are Hobby Drama on Reddit wrote this post 2 years ago, and it gives a little bit of background and context into why people in the UK were so quick and easy to believe that this is real. To understand much of what would eventually happen, I'll try and give a brief explanation of the state of British TV at the time. In 1992, there were only 4 free-to-air television channels in the UK: BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and the imaginatively titled Channel 4. The BBC is the national broadcaster of the UK and is funded by the TV license, essentially a TV tax. Because of this, the BBC was held to a much higher standard than ITV or Channel 4, which are both funded by advertisers and sponsors, and was generally seen as more trustworthy. This is very important later. Now, BBC One is the flagship channel of the BBC and was aimed at mainstream content like entertainment, children's and family programming, news, and sport. BBC Two mostly focused more on niche programming and special interest content, gardening, history, cars, the arts, etc., documentaries, and alternative comedy. It's also important to note that during the 80s and into the 90s, genre television, which had long been a staple on UK TV, had fallen out of favor with British audiences and was all but absent from TV screens at the time. Now, even right up until the broadcast, certain individuals in the BBC expressed concern at the show's unusual format and how it would be perceived by the public. Exactly 5 years earlier, the BBC got into hot water over another Halloween production, 1987's Paul Daniels' Halloween Special, in which the popular TV magician performed a number of spooky-themed magic tricks, culminating in a live finale in which Daniels would attempt to escape from an imposing, spike-filled Iron Maiden, which looked like something out of a Saw movie. Before he can escape, the door mechanism slams shut early, and instead of the usual climax where a magician pops out unharmed, the final shots were of bemused-looking stagehands as the show cuts the credits, while a hot microphone catches the producer asking the audience to calmly exit the room. Following this, the BBC was inundated with calls from concerned viewers who were certain that they had just watched a magician get turned to a shish kebab on live TV. Even worse, considering only 5 years before that, audiences watched another popular TV magician and entertainer, Tommy Cooper, suffer a fatal heart attack on live TV during an episode of Live from Her Majesty's, forcing Daniels to make an impromptu appearance on TV later that evening to reassure audiences that he was still in one piece. Fearing that Ghostwatch could face similar backlash, they insisted that a Screen One title card and writing credit be aired at the start of the show. Surely that would be enough to let viewers know that they are watching a fictional show, right?
Now on BBC One, Screen One presents an unusual and sometimes disturbing film marking Halloween. Over the centuries, there have been countless reports of ghosts and ghouls, but the line between fact and fiction has always been unclear. Using the modern idiom of the outside broadcast, Michael Parkinson, Sarah Green, Mike Smith and Craig Charles star in Ghostwatch.
No, not particularly. Ghostwatch sparked a massive panic and outrage. By the end of the broadcast, an estimated 1 million people called the BBC switchboard and they were scared out of their minds. And the BBC received over 30,000 complaints, making this one of the most controversial broadcasts in UK history until something called Jerry Springer the Opera aired in 2005. Tabloids and newspapers ripped the show apart, calling it manipulative and cruel, and also called it a sick hoax. Parents were pretty pissed off because these were trusted personalities on TV that made it feel like it was safe for their kids to watch, despite the 9 p.m. watershed. And then there were like the prank details, such as that fake call-in number, which ironically got jammed. And that added to the chaos of the show as it claimed that paranormal activity was spreading, kind of like a virus across the entire UK. Viewers weren't just scared. Some of them were traumatized. The British Medical Journal later published reports of children that suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder from watching this show or watching this movie. And one tragic case involved an 18-year-old boy named Martin Denham. The movie terrified him so much, and with the belief that the ghost, Mr. Pipes, that was the ghost name in the movie, Mr. Pipes, believing that Mr. Pipes was real, he tragically took his own life. His parents blamed the BBC, which led into an investigation into the show's effects. In response to the BBC panic, they banned Ghostwatch for 10 years, and it was not allowed to be rebroadcast on UK TV in any form during the course of those 10 years. And they were basically acting like the show never existed. They never mentioned it. They never talked about it. It was like they wanted it to vanish into the ether. But of course, that only made it even more infamous because bootleg copies circulated for years. And then it came out on DVD in 2002. And by then, Ghostwatch had earned cult status. It also became a blueprint for modern found footage horror and modern mockumentary style horror. If you look at movies like the Paranormal Activity franchise or even Host, which was in part influenced by Ghostwatch, and even shows like Inside Number 9's Halloween special Deadline drew inspiration from the blend of realism and terror. But looking back, Ghostwatch does what horror does its absolute best. It pushes boundaries. It made people question what was real and what wasn't. And even though it absolutely crossed the line for some, you cannot deny its impact on the horror genre and on the mockumentary found footage subgenre as a whole. And to this day, fans still come through Ghostwatch looking for the hidden appearances of Mr. Pipes, the ghost. The director said that 13 appearances of Mr. Pipes were filmed, but only 9 have been found. Well, thank you so much for watching this little behind the scenes, so to speak, of what Ghostwatch, what it was all about, and why it is so important in the horror genre today. Let me know what you think about Ghostwatch. Do you think that it was ahead of its time, or do you think it went too far? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and share this video with fellow horror fans. It really does help. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss another Retro Horror School class. I'm going to toss up a few more videos here I think you might like. And sadly, class is dismissed, everybody. But I will see you next time. Bye. Ha! You thought that class was dismissed. But here is a special bonus segment of this video where I ask people on Threads. I would love to hear from anyone in the UK who remembers when Ghostwatch 1992 aired on TV. Did you believe it was real? If you did, why? And if you caught on to it being fake, talk about that too. Here are some of your reactions and responses. Katie Witten said, prepare for an essay. Essays are fine. I knew that it probably wasn't going to be 100% real, but with Michael Parkinson being a host, it added a level of credibility to the program that it wouldn't have had otherwise. He was a famous TV personality who had interviewed the likes of Muhammad Ali, was family wrestled to the ground by the puppet Emu during an interview with Rod Hull, and was hit on by Miss Piggy in front of poor old Kermit. The other presenters, Mike Smith and Sarah Green, were at the time a married couple of TV/radio presenters. Smith was more known for his DJ work on BBC Radio 1 and presenting BBC One's music show Top of the Pops, and I think he only got the gig because he's married to Green. Green was a presenter for the kids' show Blue Peter and would often get up to quite high-risk stunts. She was trying to break out of the kids' TV market into a broader audience, so her inclusion made more sense. I was 14 at the time, a bit of a wise ass, so knew pretty much what was going on was for laughs and shock value. But then when the end 5 minutes came around, I honestly didn't know if that was made up or something actually happened and was caught on camera. It was really well done, and certainly nothing we had seen on TV at the time. Sure, there had been live broadcasts, obviously, but nothing that had really incorporated this level of special effects, sound effects, and the like. I'm surprised they haven't re-aired it. I'm sure it's not aged well in terms of the effects and stuff, and you have wall-to-wall Most Haunted, presented by Yvette Fielding, who, ironically, was also an ex-Blue Peter presenter. So I guess there's the Blue Peter's Ghost Hunter pipeline, or fake YouTube videos of hauntings. But maybe it's also best left to our recollections as a TV show that was obviously staged, but left you with a feeling that there was a smattering of truth to it. Ghostwatch is available to watch on Shudder as an added note for all of you who have not seen it yet. Raggedy Man says, I was young, so kind of yes, kind of no. We just weren't used to reality TV, let alone fake reality TV. The BBC doing stuff like this, or Parkinson doing fun stuff, so it seemed plausible that the BBC were doing a real ghostly outside broadcast. Then the escalation pacing were superb. Basically, it was The Nation versus one of the single finest found footage horrors ever. Pat Higgins Film said, I was lucky enough to watch it that Halloween night on a communal TV lounge in my first year at uni. Most realized it wasn't real, but were freaking out anyway. One of my favorite telly memories. Real Steve said, I remember watching it live. I enjoyed it, but quite early on, I can recall realizing it was an elaborate setup. Mike Smith and Michael Parkinson, although fabulous presenters, were not known for their acting prowess. Sarah Green started as an actress, I think, it could do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And he also added, caused a pretty big stir at the time and is one of those fondly remembered event TV moments with most Brits. Penny Loves Bunny said, I watched it live when I was 12. So yes, I did. Thought it was real. And my dad, who let me and my friends stay up and watch it, also thought it was real. Toward the end, he was wanting to turn it off, but I wanted to finish it. Yes, we horror fans sometimes tend to be gluttons for punishment. Grace Kraken says, I was 12 when it aired and I didn't see the warning at the start. Watched it with my brother, 10, and sister, 8. And yes, we all thought it was real. These were famous faces. We watched Sarah Green on Going Live Saturday mornings, and Craig Charles was on Red Dwarf. The public were phoning in, and it felt like there was a ghost invasion. The wailing cast of Under the Stairs was the worst part. We had to sit up watching MTV. We were too afraid to go to bed when it ended. Rudy Keith said, yes, saw it as an impressionable child and it scared the shit out of me. I am pretty sure that I thought it was real as I was young and the BBC outside broadcast vibe was so spot on. Keezy said, I was fortunate enough to have a video recorder in my bedroom, luxury at the time. Channel 4 was showing The Fog at the same time, so I decided to record Ghostwatch as it had never been shown before and watch The Fog instead. When the film cut to adverts, I would switch the telly over to Ghostwatch to see what was happening. And at some point, I heard Parky saying there would be hourly updates throughout the night. The Fog finished, and I waited for the 1 a.m. Ghostwatch update. Nothing. Waited for the 2 a.m. Nothing. Waited for the 3 a.m. and still nothing, so I made the executive decision to watch Ghostwatch back and see what happened. My immediate thought was that the ghost had been discovered to be a hoax. Fuck me, was I wrong. 4 a.m. and I'm shitting myself, especially when the voice started. Went to school that Monday and everyone was talking about it, asking if they saw the ghosts in the window, etc. Then I casually dropped the bombshell that I actually recorded it. Well, that was the most popular I was ever going to be in school. Everyone wanted to see it. I still have that tape. It's my own in real life found footage, and over the years, I would screen it for friends with the setup you've just read before watching it. I love it. Vampire Dave Gross said, I was 9 years old. I caught a bit of it, fully believing it was a real documentary. The bit with the ghost in the cupboard scared the shit out of me, and I turned it off, sharpish. Shugtacular said, I watched it live, and the verisimilitude of the presenters and premise was very convincing. One of my core memories was Sarah Green having to go on Kids TV a few days later to prove that Mr. Pipes hadn't killed her. She was like, I'm alive. Yeah, that must have been like, wait, what? I saw you get offed on a TV show. QB said, I was almost 12 when this aired. I remember watching it and it was scary, but it was after it finished and I tried to go to sleep that it really hit me. I was so terrified laying there in the dark, I cried my eyes out. When I finally did get to sleep, I had a terrible nightmare. It took me a few weeks to get over the whole experience, but now I love anything paranormal and horror related, so maybe it stemmed from this. I bet it did. The first movie I watched when I wasn't supposed to, Hellraiser, that's, I guess, why I love gory horror today. Thanks, Hellraiser. Chopper Kelly said, I watched this on my own, my parents in the next room. I thought it was a bit of fun at first, but as the show went on, I started freaking out a bit. I was really unsure what was real and what wasn't. Then, scene of a bedroom, the camera panned very fast. I saw a shadowy being by the curtains. Camera panned back and it was gone. I leapt off the sofa, ran to the next room to tell my folks about it, and to find some comfort, I imagine. Heart pounding out of my chest. That is definitely a testament to how well it was filmed. Suitable for Nerds said, I was 13 and missed the beginning, so I totally got suckered into thinking it was real right up until the point things started happening in the studio. Then I became suspicious. Now, class dismissed, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye.